name is Tracy Vincent Anderly. I'm a student at Louisiana Culinary Institute, and today I'll prepare two versions of a recipe, spinach and artichoke dip, which will be great for any time of year or the holiday season. The first step in the process is to heat up our saute pan here to a medium-high heat, and we're gonna heat up our spinach. And while we heat up our spinach, we're gonna do 2 cups of spinach here. We're going to just do a rough chop on our brined canned artichokes. So that is 2 14-ounce cans. And we'll just do a rough chop here. And we'll put them right in the pan with our spinach so they can get warmed up together. Okay. This dish is so simple to prepare. It only takes 10 minutes of prep time, so you could actually prepare it the day before and cool it and refrigerate, reheat for a party, or you can actually prepare just a few minutes before your first party of the season. Okay, so I'm adding all of my artichokes to the spinach that's warming over medium-high heat. And once we get that kind of heated up, we'll add a little bit of salt. Just a pinch here and there. While my spinach and artichokes are heating up in the skillet here, I went ahead and grabbed my blender for the next step in the recipe, which is going to be making cashew butter. So I'm going to just go ahead and place that 1 cup of cashews in my blender. And we're going to actually kind of puree this. We'll pulse it at first and then add in olive oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we'll just pulse it. Increase the speed here. And then we'll open the top of our blender and drizzle in the 2 tablespoons of oil. And you want to make sure that this gets really creamy. We're getting pretty close here. So you can multitask here as I'm warming up the spinach and artichokes. I'm still continuing to puree my cashews since it's almost done. Okay. Okay, so you're gonna go for peanut butter, a very smooth consistency if possible, as close as you can get to a peanut buttery smooth texture. This is gonna just make everything kind of adhere and stick and bring out the flavor. It's gonna be a flavor enhancer for your spinach and artichoke dip. Now that we have our cashew puree all set, we're gonna move this to the side, and we're gonna move on to the next step in our recipe, which is to strain the warmed spinach and artichoke mixture. So we're gonna just go ahead and get a strainer, and you see I've just placed the strainer in a pot to drain the water for me as I scoop it from the skillet into the strainer. Just get all of that in there. You don't want any water in this recipe. It'll actually just prevent any of the flavors and ingredients from adhering to each other and marrying. It's just gonna not give you the texture that you want with your recipe. So you can just take a little rubber spatula here, and we're gonna strain it through. And you can do a colander, use a colander with this as well. Don't necessarily need a chinois or china cap. And this is a fairly quick process. Now that we've strained all of the water out of our spinach and artichokes, we've placed it in a bowl. And now that the water's drained out of it, we're gonna go ahead and add the puree of cashew butter that we prepared earlier. Okay, so, okay. Okay, and at this point we're gonna add our seasonings. We're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of the garlic powder. About a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. About a teaspoon of black pepper. Teaspoon of salt. Okay. Teaspoon of onion powder. A little bit of dried basil, probably about a full tablespoon. Okay. So we'll just make sure we mix all of this together. And once I mix this, I'm gonna add my goat cheese, 2 ounces of goat cheese. And so this version of the recipe actually will have dairy. That is an option that you can deviate from if you have someone with a dietary restriction and are not able to have dairy products. You can certainly create this dish without it, and the cashew butter will provide that texture you're looking for, that creaminess. So at this point, I will go ahead and add our 2 ounces of goat cheese. and the heat from the artichokes and the spinach are gonna help that kind of melt in and mix very well. You're gonna wanna serve this dish warm to your guests, and you can serve it with vegetable chips, you can serve it with pita chips, tortilla chips, or toast points if you have leftover baguette or bread in your home. Okay, so our goat cheese is almost fully incorporated into the rest of the ingredients. And if you don't like goat cheese, which a lot of people don't, you can always use Gruyere cheese or mozzarella, something that's a good melting cheese that will, you could easily grate it or shred it and add it to this. Okay. Now that we've gotten all of our ingredients completely mixed, it is still warm, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into my serving dish. And just keep in mind that you can serve this dish without cheese. The cashew butter that I added to this does create a creamier texture that the cheese would also provide. And in Louisiana during the holidays, we tend to get offerings with lots of heavy creams and butters. And this is an alternative to a delicious, delicious holiday treat.